Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So, wanted to continue with Sanatan Dharma and the sessions that we're doing on Vedic knowledge. And wanted to seek the blessings of Radha Madhava, Radha Shyam, Sundar Krishna, Balaram, Bal Gopal, Gaunita, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and the assembly devotees. Today, I wanted to look at the Vedic conception of time, which is very, very interesting. Now, time, of course, is something in the material world which is very, it's very steady. It just keeps moving forward. You can't go back, even if you try. Just keeps going. And time, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, is the destroyer of all three worlds. And he is time. So he will destroy this world in due course of time. But time has a completely different meaning in the spiritual kingdom. There, time doesn't move as it does in the material world. Time does not dictate. Time does not destroy. Time doesn't make people old in the spiritual world. Time serves the Lord. And this is something that's quite hard for us in the material world to understand, because we are conditioned by the concept of time within this material world, because we see past, present, and future. But in the spiritual world, time exists in a different concept. It serves the Lord. It does not dictate. So time moves in a different fashion, depending on the circumstances of the Leelas of the Lord. Time does not get in the way of Leela. So again, as I said, hard for us to completely understand or imagine this, but that's what we understand from the scriptures. So now, this is the whole creation. We have a very small part is the material world. In fact, the material world is based in the northeast corner of the spiritual world here. But for the sake of display, we have shown it at the bottom here. And it's shown it's a huge part of the whole creation, but actually it's a small part here, the northeast corner of Vaikuntha. So this is the Golok Vrindavan. And then we have Ayodhya. We have Vaikuntha, the Brahmajyoti, which is the effulgence of the Lord. Then we have Mahesh Dham, which is actually located here, which is Shiv Lok, half of which is in the spiritual world, and the other half is in the material world, which is really fascinating. And then we have the material world. Now, time, as we know it, impacts us in this material world. How does it impact us? Well, one of the incarnations of Krishna, who is here, Mahavishnu, also known as Karunadaksha Vishnu, is an incarnation of an incarnation of an incarnation of an incarnation of Krishna. Now, he is a very interesting personality. Here he is. He lies on the he lies on Anantashesh, actually. And while he breathes out, millions of universes come out of the pores of his skin, millions and millions of universes. And it is said that the lifespan of one universe is 311 trillion, 40 billion years. That's the lifespan of a universe. And that is equivalent to one breath of Vishnu. One of Mahavishnu's breaths is equal to 311 trillion, 40 billion years. When he breathes out, the universes come out, spring to life. When he breathes in, they all go back into his body. They're destroyed. So this is, we say how great, we say God is great. This gives us a little glimpse of his greatness. And he is only the incarnation of an incarnation of an incarnation of an incarnation of Krishna. So we can see how great God is just by this example. So here he is. This is the Mahavishnu. And from his pores of his skin, as he breathes out, all these universes, the bubbles come out from the pores of his skin. And then into every single universe, he enters as the second Vishnu. He's known as Garbhodakshay Vishnu. So let's just have a quick look. There he is, Garbhodakshay Vishnu. So he enters as Garbhodakshay Vishnu into every single universe. And from his navel sprouts a lotus flower on which at the top is Lord Brahma. And this Brahma is the secondary creator of this universe. Our Lord Brahma in this small universe only has 4 heads. But there are other universes which are far bigger. You can see them here, far, far bigger. And the Brahmas in those universes have more heads, bigger heads. Because the universes are bigger, they require more intelligence to create, for creation purposes. Anyway, so time is one of the topics of the Bhagavad Gita. Because Krishna says time destroys all in the Bhagavad Gita, 1132, 11th chapter, which is universal form. But one who thinks of Krishna at the time of death, he also attains the supreme. So this is in the Bhagavad Gita, 8th chapter, chapter 6, 8th chapter, text number 6. So we can understand that yes, time will destroy, but time will not destroy the devotees of Krishna. Because at the time of death, the devotees of Krishna will think of Krishna. And what will happen to those devotees? They will go to the Lord of time, Krishna. So they'll be protected from Kal, time. So let's have a look at the concept of time in this material world. As we discussed already, life of Brahma is 311 trillion 40 billion years, which is a long time. And there are 360 kalpas in the year of Brahma. He lives for 100 years. There's 36,000 kalpas. So we're going to have a look at one day of Lord Brahma. This is one day of Brahma. This is one day of Brahma. So this day is expanded. Here it is. The whole day is equal to 4.32 billion years. And in that day, there are 14 manvantaras. So every day, minimum of 14 avatars comes in each of the periods. And let's have a look at one manvantara in a day of Brahma. It's equal to 306.72 million years. That's one manvantara. And within one manvantara, there are 71 divyugyas, i.e. 71 yugs. And one yug is Satyayug, Tretayug, Dwapayug, Kali Yug. There's 71 of those that appears. And we are living at this moment in time in Kali Yug, which is only 432,000 years. We're only in the we're about 5,000 years into Kali Yuga, just over 5,000 years. And before this age, there was Dwapara Yuga, which was 864,000 years. And then Treta Yuga, which is 1.296 million years, and Satya Yuga was 1.728 million years. So we can see we are a very tiny speck in relation to Lord Brahma. Very, very, very tiny speck. But yet we are thinking we are the center of the universe. This world wouldn't be the same without us. So just a quick revision. How long is a kalpa? So kalpa is basically 1 day of Brahma, right? 12 hours of Brahma, equal to 4.32 billion years. And 1 night of Brahma is also equal to 4.32 billion years. There are 14 manus, as we said, or manvantaras. Each manvantara has a manu. Manu means father of mankind. And there are these 15 sandhyas. Sandhyas is the gap between the yugas. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains there are Sahasra Yuga. Sahasra Yuga. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together form the duration of Brahma's 1 day. Such also is the duration of his night. So that 1,000 yugas is 71 times 14, 71 Mahayugas, the 4 yugas, 71 of those, times by 14 manvantaras equals 994, plus 6 sandhyas, because there are gaps between the manvantaras. That equals 1,000 yugas. So this is from chapter 8 of text 17 in the Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is explaining how 1 day of Brahma is formed. And just another idea. This is a little complex, but this gives an idea of what we already talked about. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. This is 1 Mahayuga, 71 of those in 1 day, or 1 Manu, one Manvantara, whose life is 306 million years. There's 14 of them in 1 day of Brahma. So these are astonishing numbers, astonishing figures. But this is the concept of time according to Vedic philosophy in this material world. And remember, this is nothing to do with the spiritual world. This is just in our world alone. This is a bit more information. But what is very interesting is 1 second of Brahma, his time, 1 second, is equal to 100,000 human years. So this is very interesting to understand. Just 1 second of Brahma in Brahmalok, 100,000 years pass here. So it's inconceivable how long his life is. We're like a little amoeba. An amoeba has a very short lifespan, may live for a few seconds. But if you tell an amoeba that humans can live for 70, 80 years, the amoeba will be very confused because he lives for a second or two. So we similarly can become very confused because in relation to Lord Brahma, our lifespan is like a very, very tiny, extremely tiny. So how old is our Brahma? We can even work that out. Currently, 50 years of Brahma have passed. The last kalpa at the end of the 50th year is called Padma Kalpa. Since 50 years of Brahma has already elapsed, this is the second prarabdha, also called Dvitya Paratra. So we are in the first day of the 50th year, 51st year of Brahma, 51st year of Brahma. So we're in the first day of the 51st year, named as Shweta Vraha Kalpa. And within this day of Brahma, already 6 manvantras have passed. This is the 7th manvantra, whose name is Vaivasvata manvatra. And even within this Vaivasvata mantra, 27 Mahayugas have already gone. And Satya, Treta, and Dwapa of the 28th Yuga has already passed. So we are in this Kali Yuga, is in the 28th Mahayuga. And it began in the year 3102. So about just over 5,000 years ago. 5,200 years. So calculating the time elapsed since our current Brahma's creation, it is, wow, that's a big number. 155 billion, sorry, trillion, 521 trillion, hang on, let's start again. 155 trillion, 521 billion, 972 million, 994,122 years have passed. That's Lord Brahma's, right? And the time in Brahmlok right now is 11:28, give or take a second or two. So we're halfway to the day of Brahma. So in the Bhagavatam it states, Yad ardam ayushashtasya paradam abhidiyate purva paradho apakanto hiyapyaro adhya parvatate. The 100 days of Lord Brahma's life are divided into two parts, the first half and the second half. The first half of the duration of Lord Brahma's life is already over, and the second half is now current. So this is confirmation of what we've been just saying. And just a little calculation of how we get to this 1128. So many yugas have already passed, and there's 994 yugas in the whole day of Brahma. So approximately it works out at 1128. Yes, Pravin. Yes.
It's Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. It's good. It's you're talking about these millions and billions years.
Trillions, yes.
Trillions, yeah. Do we have to remember this?
No. Just we have to understand that we are very tiny in this world in relation to the whole creation. We're very, very tiny. And this just gives us an idea of how tiny we are. So our egos should not be too high.
That's right.
This is the point.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Now,
yeah.
Carry on.
Thank you. Thank you.
Carry on. That's fine. Thank you. I was just thinking it was difficult to remember all these years.
Yeah, it is. Definitely.
Yeah.
It's good to know where we are, though. We are in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is a
Yeah.
hard age, very hard. Kali Yuga, it was very peaceful meditation people could do for thousands of years. Treta Yuga, people were very, very rich, so they were able to do great sacrifices for the Lord. In Dwapar Yuga, they used to have fantastic deities and they worshiped them nicely. But in Kali Yuga, it's hard to do any of that. So the easiest thing the Lord has given us to do, just chant his holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. And we get the same benefit as they did in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga. But simply by chanting Hare Krishna, we can attain perfection in this age of Kali Yuga. In fact, It is said that Kali Yuga is better than any of the other ages because in this Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us this special blessing that you can get pure love of God, prema bhakti, simply by engaging in the chanting of the holy names. So even those who take birth in Satya Yuga, actually they aspire to take birth in Kali Yuga. The demigods, the devatas who live in heaven, they also want to take birth in Kali Yuga, take advantage of the blessing of Lord Chaitanya. So we are very lucky.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
It's a bit of a timeline. In Bharat, of course, we know Sanatan Dharma started, Sikhism, Jainism, Buddhism, all these started there. But Sanatan Dharma is no ordinary Dharma. It is a way of life, it's eternal, it has no beginning, it has no end. You can't dissect Sanatan Dharma from one's own being because we are all spirit soul connected to God through Sanatan Dharma. Whether we follow Sanatan Dharma, the principles of Sanatan Dharma or not, it doesn't matter. We are all connected to God through Sanatan Dharma. If we try to follow the principles of Sanatan Dharma, all the better, because then we will be in sync with the Lord. We will be connected to the Lord in a very dynamic, positive way. We are connected with the Lord even if we don't follow Sanatan Dharma. This is the point. But the connection is hidden. We've lost our identity. We don't remember who we are. We don't know who God is. We don't know what is our relationship with God. And this is where, if we follow Sanatan Dharma, if we understand Sanatan Dharma, we can reconnect with God again. This is the beauty of Sanatan Dharma. And nobody is excluded from Sanatan Dharma. Whether one is following Hinduism, Jainism, Sikhism, Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, doesn't matter. Judaism, doesn't matter. Everybody's connected to God. There's a little timeline as to when these different religions started. We sometimes say Sanatana Dharma started 5,000 years ago. Actually, that's not accurate. Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, yes, to Arjuna 5,000 years ago. But he also says in the Bhagavad Gita, I spoke this knowledge to Ishwaku, the sun god. Or was it Vivaswan? Vivaswan. And Vivaswan spoke it to Ishwaku. And in time, this knowledge was lost. So actually, this knowledge is from the beginning of time. The Sanatana Dharma is from the beginning of time. And then Judaism came, Jainism came 2,500, Buddhism came 2,483 years ago, Christianity 2,000 years old, Islam 1,400, Sikhism 600 years ago. So they've come over time. And they have their own scriptures. They have the Torah, or the Agamas, the Buddhists use the three Pitakas, Christians, Bible, Islamic, Quran, Sikhism, Guru Granth. But we have an extraordinary amount of Vedic knowledge, which is all summarized into the verses given by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. We are very, very fortunate. So this gives an idea of the basic idea of concept of time according to the Vedic scriptures. So any comments, any questions, please? I know, Prabhavan, you've already made a nice point. Okay, we can stop there. Sanatan Dharma ki jai.